Namaste children. Yesterday we have started first civics chapter, that is what is democracy and why democracy. Yesterday we gone through the meaning of the democracy and some of its features. Today we look into one of the question, that is why democracy. When I ask why democracy, I should give some points for that. Why democracy is required, why democracy is not required. Though I have said it is one of the good, better form of government than other form of government, it is having some of the limitations, some of the drawbacks. So I am going to argue that democracy is not the good form of government by these points. Why? Why democracy is not good form of government? Because it has these many drawbacks. I am going to explain you now one by one. First point is that instability. Here the government is not stable. You know the example of, you can take the example of Karnataka government. When the coalition government has been formed, it was collapsed very soon, and again the new government has been formed and now it is running. So in democracy these type of changes in government will take place. Because of that, what happens, we will get an unstable government which cannot work properly. So this instability leads for many drawbacks. So that's why this instability in democracy can be considered as drawback of democracy. Next, we can say that there is no scope for morality. Here what happens, all the leaders, they look only for their betterment, their personal betterment. They won't give any importance for people's problem. Some leaders, not all the leaders. So what happens here, those problems will not be sorted out, will not be solved. That's why we can say that it won't give much scope for the morality. They just go according to the constitution and they don't give space for the morality. Next, it is very important, it leads, democracy form of government leads for delays. What happens here, for everything they have to discuss in parliament. You know what happens daily, they are arguing each other. All the members of parliament, they are going to discuss on some topics. So when they go through these discussions, the decision will come out late. In emergencies, it is very difficult to take rapid decisions. It won't happen in democracy form of government. That's why we can say this is the drawback of democracy. Sometimes what happens, some leaders who belongs to a particular community, they may dominate other communities, maybe minorities or any other caste. Things will come to his mind. He is going to make some bad decisions. He won't give much importance for the poor sectors, poor section, or he won't give importance. Even it is required, he may not give importance for particular community intentionally. So these type of bad decisions may come in democracy form of government. That's why we can also say it is the drawback of democracy. Next, in democracy form of government, what happens, not all the people will be having awareness about the leaders. There are so many chances to elect bad leaders also. You know that what happens in the elections, during elections. So when people don't have awareness of their leaders, when they elect the bad leaders, definitely democracy form of government is going to fail. So these drawbacks are going to make us to say that democracy is not the better form of government. Though it is having these drawbacks, it is good form of government. Why? Because it has very least drawbacks, and here so many things are there which make people to lead better life and for development. So let us discuss why democracy. Now let us discuss why democracy. I am going to argue that why democracy is needed. Why we should have the democracy form of government only. How it is better than other form of governments. Let us go through some points. Why some points that argue the why democracy form of government is good form of government. Accountability. So here in democracy what happens? The government is more accountable for the people. I'll give you an example of China government. In China, you know that communist form of government is there. There is no opposition party also, and whatever they make decision, that is the final. There is no discussion. There is no changing of decisions. Once it comes, it is going to be implemented on the people. What happened in 1958 to 61? There was a famine. There was a drought. People started suffering a lot because of that drought, because of that famine. But the government did not take care of the people in this crisis. They even restricted the press, media, everything. They restricted against whoever criticized the government there. They have stopped them by criticizing the government, and they have not taken any proper decisions to look after the people. But in India, what happened? There were so many medias, there were so many press, there were so many leaders, political leaders. Even the opposition party also will be exist in India, you know that. So these opposition parties, press, media, everyone started criticizing the government. There are rights, constitutional rights for all these to criticize government. So this is the beauty of democracy. Through this what happens? The better decisions in right moments will come out. So because of that, India was able to protect the people during this famine. But China lacked because the people were died. That's why I argue democracy is required. Democracy is good form of government. Why? Because here the government is more accountable for the people. Next, the quality of decision making is fine in democracy form of government. Here we can say that the decisions which come out of democracy form of government, through democracy, those decisions will be having more quality. Why? Because more discussions will take place. There are so many types of leaders will be present during the discussion. So because of that, what happens? The discussions, the decisions they are going to take will be fine. So that is the beauty of democracy. That is also. So we can say the quality of decision making is very fine. Because of that, good decisions will come out and we can enjoy them. That's why democracy form of government is required. Then the better methods to resolve conflicts. Here what happens in China? Take the example of China. There people go against the government. They will resolve in forceful manner. They may take brutal actions also to stop them by to stop them to criticize the government. Not only criticizing government, even some community clashes will take place. During that, what happens? The government in China, they may take the brutal actions, brutal decisions to stop those conflicts. But in India, what happens? They are going to discuss. They are going to discuss about the issues where all type of leaders are present. So by that, in democracy, the decisions which they take to resolve the conflicts will be very fine, will be what we can say smooth. But in other form of government, it will be very crucial, very critical and very brutal. That's why we can argue that democracy form of government is better than other form of government. Then it is the democracy form of government is going to enhance the dignity of the citizens of the country. Why? Because here everyone having one vote, one value. Because of that, what happens? Even rich person also will get only one vote and same value. Poorest citizen of the country also will be having one vote, same value. That's why they get the same equal importance in the country in decision in electing leaders. So that's why we can say that it improves the dignity of the citizens. Each and every citizen in India, not only in India, wherever the democratic form of governments are present, their citizens' dignity will be enhanced. So that's why we can say democracy is good, better form of any other form of government. Then one more important argument to say that democracy is good form of government. That is, it allows the people to correct the mistakes. If, for example, if you elected the bad leaders, so very soon the elections may appear again. You can change it. In between also you can change it through some rallies, through some strikes, hartals. By doing that, you can also change the government. Then what happens? Citizens will be getting chance to rectify the mistakes of the democracy. It is fine now. So we can say democracy is the better form of government than any other form of government. In next class, we will look into the deeper meaning, broader meaning of the democracy. Thank you.